Imagine as an actor, you dream of projects and roles like this. How did Lady in the Lake originally come across your desk? What was about the script and character that caught your eye?
I got the audition initially, and the things that jumped out were obviously who was directing and who was starring, Alma and Natalie. Those are two people that I've definitely wanted to work with. So, I mean, that was very exciting. And then to me, the character had a lot of depth, and there was a lot under the surface, and there was a lot unsaid, and there was a lot to be explored. And I feel like that's always really exciting to have a character that kind of not everything is on the page. There's a lot to
Mm.
figure out maybe why they do certain things. And so I think that to me is always really thrilling to have a character where you can really dive in and kind of discover where their motivation comes from.
The series centers around these two women and their search for the marvelous. Do you remember the moment in your own life when you realized storytelling was your gift as an artist?
Oof. I mean, ever since I was a kid, I kind of loved acting. I would do community theater classes, and if I wasn't at the theater, I'd be running around my backyard with my neighbor, like pretending we were in Lord of the Rings. So I feel like there
Mm.
was always this kind of element that I felt like I was alive when I was kind of imagining and telling story, even if it wasn't in front of people. To me, it kind of felt like it was always going to be part of my life. And Yeah, I felt like it just felt right when I was doing it.
You're meant to do this. In addition to the incredible work that you've done in film and television, you've also gotten into producing, and you have really strong affinity for writing as well. How have your experiences behind the camera influenced the way that you now approach your work on screen and interpret characters and scripts like this?
Well, I think that when it comes to writing, which I haven't done professionally, but I do for my own enjoyment. I think that it just forces you to kind of look at a story in a different way. I think as an actor, it's really easy to get stuck in the mindset of, okay, how can I fit into a specific character? How can I be the right fit for this person? But at the end of the day, when you're on the other side of it, it's very clear that it's not about that. When I'm writing something, I have a very specific idea of who this person is in my mind, and
Mm.
I'm realizing that it doesn't matter who comes in and probably blows you away. It's you have these preconceived ideas about how you see the character, when I produced a short film, and I got to see some of the auditions, and that was also very clear, where it's like, oh, these actors are all wonderful, but this person feels like the character. So I think to translate it, on the acting side, I think it just kind of gave me a sense of ease and relaxation to be like, okay, it really isn't about me. There's so much
Yeah,
beyond my control.
yeah, so many factors that go into it. And you deliver such a groundbreaking performance in this limited series that's equal part haunting as it is heartbreaking. And there's so many creative decisions that you made with the character's speech and physicality when embodying his past, that trauma, without giving any spoilers. And as an
Yeah.
actor, how did you find your way into Stefan and the character work that you did for this?
So this character in particular, I think, was a lot more involved than most of the other characters I've done. I mean, and that's definitely credit to Alma, who just is a wonderful person, and hope to work with her again. But she really set me up for success. She introduced me to some really wonderful coaches, a movement coach, speech coach, a dream coach. All these really wonderful people to kind of help me uncover the character. So for me and Alma, the physicality was very important. Kind of approaching the character from a more physical perspective, and how that those physical restraints might affect him mentally. I think that for me, I was always trying to find something that I was battling with physically or
Mm.
emotionally in a scene, and it kind of really brought me into my body. But yeah, the physicality was really important, and fortunately, I was able to work with a lot of really wonderful people to find who that was.
came across it in your performance again without giving any spoilers. How does that preparation differ between scenes? Because there's moments when your character has these really outward expressions of emotion, but other times when you're doing so much storytelling through your eyes and without dialogue, but audiences feel that gear in your character's heads kind of spinning.
I think allowing the tension within the character to build in those moments that you're not speaking, but but figuring out areas where he maybe wants to, but he can't, you know? And so that way, when the moments come where there is that burst of emotion, you kind of allow yourself to release that thing that you've been holding in. And
Mm,
you know, the way we shot this for at least my stuff was kind of all over the place. So I kind of had to treat this like a giant movie, just not knowing, you know, we didn't I didn't shoot my stuff in chronological order. So so yeah, there was a lot to keep in mind, you know, where I was coming from, where I was going to go, because you want to make sure that there's those levels, you know what I mean? But yeah, I think the moments, because I always really love moments where you don't say a lot and
yeah.
it's up to you to just kind of convey with your eyes. I think that's always really exciting to try to do. It's a good challenge.
Yeah, there's so many moments throughout the series where you're telling a story through your eyes. It's really captivating to watch. And you can tell the care and the attention to detail that the entire team brought to this project, from the
Yeah.
production design to the costumes. How helpful are all of those elements in helping you bring out your own performance and that authenticity? And how different is it from maybe shooting on a soundstage?
Yeah, I mean, you know, I feel like along the way during the process, there's always these moments that kind of reveal itself to me. You know, getting on location in Baltimore was a big one because, you know, this is where these people are from, and you kind of get to feel the environment. And then, of course, you know, you have it takes place in 1966, so you have the picture cars, and then you have the wardrobe, and that I think just and when we were able to film on location, it just breathes life into it. You know, I
Mm,
haven't had much experience like filming on a green screen, fortunately. You know, I've heard it's very challenging to do because you don't have much. Um, but yeah, I think that, I mean, for me, any project, once you start collaborating with people, it always breathes life into it. You know, there's always something that somebody else, whether it's in the wardrobe or the makeup or, you know, the hair choices, that just kind of, you look in the mirror and you just see yourself a little more as the character.
to get that collaboration. You've talked in the past about how you find creative fulfillment in the creative team that you're working with. How did you build that trust with Natalie, given where your characters are? And what did you learn about your own craft working with everybody?
Well, I think to me, you know, I pointed to Alma. She just really, you know, was just such an incredible leader throughout this whole process. She was so comforting and so encouraging and supportive, and I think that it starts with her. But then Natalie, of course, you know, she's been doing this forever, but she's such a generous actor. She's such a wonderful presence that you just feel safe with her. You know, it's like you feel like when I got on set, I immediately felt like I was safe to explore things and try things. And I got permission from Alma to be like, hey, you can fail, you can mess it up. You know, we're gonna try out stuff. And I think as an you know, for me, like that's my dream whenever I get on set, is to feel the freedom to fail. Just
Yeah.
release, like loosens you up in this way that I think you can discover some really wonderful things.
Yeah. Have you been able to see the final product yet?
I got to see all 7 episodes and it's wonderful. It's incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got one final question for you. But
Yeah.
speaking of that, the search for the marvelous, I can't say enough great things about your performance in this. It's really transformative and
Thank
the
you.
places you had to go for it. When you look back at this experience, what was that scene that you were most kind of scared about filming? And what's the one that you're most proudest of?
Ooh, probably, I mean, yeah, without giving away spoilers, probably that first scene that I did with Natalie, which is just, there's a little snippet of it in the trailer, where we're sitting at a table. Because, you know, that was the first scene that I filmed. That was the first scene
Mm,
in the whole production that I filmed. And so, you know, I'm coming up with this 5 or 7 page scene. That's a lot of dialogue, very important for the storytelling. But I think that was, you know, that was the moment that Alma came up to me on my first day and said, hey, this is we're, we're only doing this scene today. This is all we have to do. So just, we're going to take our time with it. We're going to try some stuff. And that was just such a breath of fresh air, especially on a TV show. You don't have that luxury a lot
Yeah.
of on TV shows. So I think that was just a really, she led me through breathing exercises. We got to try different things in the scene. So I think just feeling that exploration was just really invigorating to for the rest of the production. It really set the tone for me.